Few years ago, if you wanted an email written or a code written or an image made or compose a music, you did it by yourself. But today, you just type a sentence. Using AI, you can write an email, you can write a code, you can draw an image, or even compose a music. It feels like magic. But have you ever wondered, how does AI create something new that's never existed before? That's what we are going to explore today. Welcome back to my channel. In the previous episode, we learned the artificial intelligence, what artificial intelligence is, and we explored the difference between the AI and augmented intelligence. And today we are taking the next step. We are going to understand generative AI, the technology behind tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, and Microsoft Copilot, and many others. By the end of this video, you'll understand what generative AI is, how it's different from traditional AI, and why it's changing the way we work and create. Before we understand generative AI, let's quickly compare it with traditional AI. Traditional AI is designed to analyze existing information. For example, it can recognize a face, detect spam emails, recommend movies, or predict whether a network link might fail. But if you notice something, traditional AI only analyzes information. It doesn't create anything new. Whereas generative AI changes that. Instead of analyzing data, it can create completely new content. It can write an article, it can generate an image, it can compose a music or write a computer code or even create a video, all from a single simple prompt. But what exactly does creating something new mean? The easiest way to understand this is with a simple classroom example where we have two students, student 1 and student 2. So imagine these two students, okay? The first student 1 reads a story and answers questions about it. The second student, the second student write entirely new story and create something new. Traditional AI is like the first student. It analyzes existing information, whereas generative AI is like the second student. It creates something new. That's the simple or biggest difference between the two type of student and generative AI and traditional AI. But this raises an interesting question. How can AI create something completely new? Where does this knowledge come from? Imagine you spent years reading millions of books, articles, and technical manuals. Over time, you wouldn't memorize every single sentence word for word. Instead, you would learn the underlying patterns. You understand how sentences are constructed, how technical concepts connect, and how troubleshooting workflows are structured. So generative AI works the same way. It learns patterns from massive amount of training data. Then you give it a prompt and it doesn't copy and paste information from any website. Instead, it used those learned patterns to generate a brand new response. So now we know that generative AI doesn't copy the information from the internet. It learns from the pattern from massive amount of training data. So when you give it a prompt, it uses these learned patterns to generate a brand new response. But here's another important or interesting questions. If it can generate new content, what kind of content can it actually create? Let's take a look. One of the reasons generative AI has become so popular is because it isn't limited to just one type of content. Today, it can create many different things, like it can create emails, summarize documents, generate computer code, design images, compose music, and create videos, and then also create presentation, even help you brainstorm new ideas. That's why tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, Midjourney, and many others have become part of our everyday lives. So, generative AI can create all these different types of content. Let's see how generative AI can help a network engineer in everyday work. Imagine you are responsible for hundreds of routers across an enterprise network. One morning, you're asked to deploy new branch office. That means creating VLANs, configuring routing protocols, applying security policies, and make sure every device follow the same standard. Traditionally, this could take hours of manual configuration. Now imagine asking an AI assistant. Ask him to create VLAN 20 for the new branch and generate the required OSPF configuration for our Cisco IS XE router. Within seconds, generative AI can generate a vendor specific configuration. It can create a template based on your requirement. And if your network uses multi vendor like Juniper, Nokia, Cisco, Huawei, it can generate those templates too. And this saves time, reduces repetitive work and helps maintain consistency across the network. But should you deploy that configuration directly into production? Absolutely not, because the engineer still reviews, tests, validates every configuration before deployment. If you see, generative AI accelerates the work. The engineer again remains responsible for the network. And that's exactly the idea behind augmented intelligence that we discussed in the previous episode. Now, after seeing all these capabilities, you might be thinking, if generative AI is this powerful, can I always trust its answer? The answer is not always. Because, as you know, generative AI is incredibly powerful, but it isn't perfect. Sometimes it can generate incorrect information. It can be wrong. Sometimes it might sound confident, but even when the answer is wrong, it can sound confident. That's why generative AI should be treated as an intelligent assistant, not as an unquestionable expert. Always verify important information before using it in the real world. Whether you are writing a code, creating a report, and or generating a network configuration, always review and verify the output before using it in the real world. That's all for today. Let's see what we have learned today. Let's bring everything together. We started by asking, how can how can AI create something that never existed before? Now we know the answer. Traditional AI is designed to analyze existing information, whereas generative AI learns patterns from large amount of training data and uses those patterns to create or brand new content. And just like we learned in the previous episode, generative AI is the most powerful when it works with humans, not instead of humans. AI brings speed and creativity, and humans bring experience and judgment, and responsibility. In this episode, we explored what generative AI is, how it creates content, how it's already changing the way we work. In the next episode, we will answer another fascinating question. How does ChatGPT actually understand and generate human language? To find out, we will explore the technology behind it. That is LLM, or large language model. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it. I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.